Because this is today is orientation, right? An introduction. So we are not, even if you don't cover a whole lot, that's fine. So in I want to start with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and I want to welcome you all on this is a class. Thanks for the Masjid ICC South. On behalf of ICC South Tech Series, I want to welcome you all for this introduction to programming class, which is using Java. So when we learn programming, we have to use some programming language. We could have used C, C++, but Java is much more used, and we will have some more introduction of Java and where it can take us to also during this class today or whenever is the right time. First again, welcome to you all. Let's see what are my topics. Bad spelling. So introduction. Then we'll do some basic information about communication in class. Then we'll talk about student information and expectation. We'll talk about some course expectation. Talk about computer systems, and we'll talk about software installation that you will need for Java class. So again, the whole class is a little bit basic. It will talk about introduction to programming, which means that how do you start doing a program. We'll not go and do a very big thing. We can if somebody is interested in, but generally it is for those people who have not done any programming before to start a programming, to get their feet wet doing programming, to feel a little bit warm and cozy with programming, and then they can start into this decision of like what they want to do next. So to begin with the basic information, so that was the introduction. You guys might have seen two WhatsApp groups. Who has not seen those groups? So I created, so all of you registered through the site. Has anybody, so all of you gotten my email? Anybody did not get my email?
I think we got you. Yeah, we got your email.
You got your email.
And
So
Texas.
after the email,
Yeah.
you also saw two WhatsApp groups, right? Everybody did? Islam, what about you? Oh, your mom is there?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So with two, Assalamu alaikum. With two WhatsApp groups, what we want to do is, one is for one way, for me to send you some information. It was just because, sometimes what happens is that hopefully we'll all do a lot of discussion and it becomes clutter where we discuss. Then if I put something in to the channel, then it goes up, right? And people cannot get back to it that easily. Or they lose a track of it, they forget about it, they cannot go back to it. So that's why I kept one separate, so that if I send you, say, I'll send you a book, maybe not on WhatsApp channel, but anywhere, I'll send you some of the notes, maybe this presentation. So all of that you'll have in one channel, no cluttering, right? And the other channel is mainly for communication, for everybody to talk to each other. And it's very important because the whole, if there's, and with WhatsApp it's kind of easier, you can easily talk to each other. But without collaboration, without talking to each other, without looking at what other people are doing, what other people are thinking, how other people are solving a problem, you will not get a lot from this course. It means teacher cannot teach you a whole lot. You guys each can teach each other a whole lot more. So for that reason, it is very, very important that if you have any problem, small or big, just write that into that channel. Maybe you'll solve it 5 minutes later, then write the solution also, so that everybody is aware. People know what other people are doing. People know what other people are seeing, getting into. the troubles they're going through, and how they're solving it. So, because programming is something which is a science, but it's also an art. Because it's not that you can teach. To do one thing, there are so many different ways of doing it. Even within a programming, within like one kind of programming. So, does WhatsApp work for everybody? There's nobody who is not on WhatsApp. WhatsApp would work for everybody. You guys can easily use it. One of the things with WhatsApp, you guys, some of you might not know, is that you can have a WhatsApp web application on your laptop also. What you see on your computer, you can have it on your laptop. Which means that if you're working on something and then you want to send a picture of something, like screenshot or cut and paste something, you can do it. You cannot do it to the phone, but you can do it if you have the WhatsApp client on your laptop, then you can easily do it. So why I'm saying it, because if you use it, it will be very easier to use it for a communication medium. All right, so what we'll do is we'll go through from Islam, a little bit of an introduction, student information and introduction. So and expectation, I'm sorry. So one of the things that I want to know from Islam to begin with is, what's your name, what grade you are in, only for you, not for other people, and what do you expect to learn from this course?
My name is Islam. I'm in 7th grade.
Mm.
And I honestly don't know what to expect.
Oh, okay. But you want to learn programming?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next,
My name is Ihab,
we have.
and I'm civil engineer. I'm just curious about the programming, so I engaged this class to learn.
Right. Okay.
My name is Mohammed, and I want to become a programmer.
You want to become a programmer. All right. Right. This is the first step. And just like Brother Ihab said, means even if you're a civil engineer or anything else, learning about programming is very important, very crucial. These, like 30 years ago, usually people would not come close to anything that has any programming in it. But now, just in 30 years or maybe even less than that, we have so many things in our house, always attached to us, like a phone or something, that has some programming going on. So if you are in any work or any kind of situation, you can make use of some program.
My name is Musa. I'm in the 11th grade, and I was just curious. That's all.
Okay.
My name is Mohammed. I want to just learn how to program, especially Java.
Okay.
Yeah, just learn the language and see what can be done with it.
Cool. Okay.
And my name is Majid, and I am a project manager / solution architect, and I need Java for solution architecture because it's widely used. So.
And Brother Majid is also helping me out with this course also. So he's sitting there, but he's also like a teacher assistant.
Any water or anything.
Java programming.
I'm Farhana, and I'm always interested with computer programming, so probably not right now, but maybe in the future I can use it.
Okay.
I'm Urinata, and I'm just curious about the programming, like most of the people here. Because I'm doing anything else, I'm in the medical field, maybe it's gonna help me later.
Alright. Sure.
To be honest, my name is Suhair. I'm Islam's mom. I'm not sure if I want to take the class, to be honest, because I don't know if it's gonna benefit me or not.
Yeah.
So,
But you are here to keep an eye on him. Right? To make sure that he learns it very well. Yes. That's a good, exactly, a good goal. Right. All right, that's very good. So one of the things with programming is, of course, it's how much, it's just with the programming and with this field, there is something very unique that usually was not there in the earlier days, in the sense that you can do a whole lot from the comfort of your home, from using just a computer. People are doing remote work, supporting a lot of other clients, and of course people are doing remote work for all other reasons also, doing PM, doing other work. But programming is also one of the things that you don't even have to associate with a company. You can do on your own, write a program, and other people might like to buy it. And there are so many programmers who do that. They are freelance kind of programmers. They write their own apps or other things and then put that up for sale, and they make a lot of money. So programming is from that point of view, and then programming can be used for medical users, for like even medical, a lot of times, like medical billing or other things, there's a lot of programming, small programs, scripts and other things are used. And for any other stuff, any other need or use, there's a lot of uses of programming. And to begin a little bit slowly, but then to stay on it and then keep practicing is the key. Because a lot of times people, they get into it, they don't like it, they find a little bit of road bumps, and then they say, okay, that's it, it's too difficult for me. Maybe it's not for me or something like that. So, but it's not really like that. It's kind of simple and easy. It's very logical because there's a lot of logic in it. And so the whole idea is that the more you work in it, the more you will like it, the more you get out of it. All right, one of the course expectation that I have, of course, we will go through the whole course outline.
We try to evaluate your teacher before you do it.
You know, asked her, to introduce ourselves.
Majlis Yura people? No introduction for them.
I want to go as a trainer. Let me sit here.
So one of the things that you will have to do in this class, for this class, would be to do some homework. So if you don't do week after week, and then learn, and then get something out of it, and then something that is demonstratable to yourself, then you're not kind of learning, getting from this anything. So that's one thing. The other, and then how we do that? We'll do that through some homework. I'll give you some homework. Maybe I'll give some homework here, maybe I'll give some homework on WhatsApp, or maybe you can yourself do some homework. You like to do something and then you make it a small project. Again, no need for a big project week to week, but we can do that towards the end or after the course. The other thing is that all the tests, you guys have to check each other's tests. So either how you do it, I don't have that idea right now, but say for example, Islam solves a problem or writes a program. He will have to send it to a few people, or maybe to the WhatsApp group, and then few people have to, and then if nobody checks it or gives you some marks, then you have to ask some people to actually go and check it. So that one person, and then I will ask every day, every week means that how many tests you have done and how many tests you have checked for other people. So everybody who does one test has to check at least 3 tests of the other people. So this way you will know how other people are doing, and that's how we learn a little bit more. All right, we'll talk about software. What software we need for it. So I did send a software installation instructions. Was anybody able to run it.
I mean, Eclipse workspace.
Right. So Eclipse working for you?
I was able to install it. I haven't used it.
Oh, you've not used it at all?
No.
Okay.
I opened it. I got into it, but I.
Okay, that's no problem. What about you, Islam?
No, I wasn't able to.
You were not able to do it. What is your system? You are Windows, right?
Yes.
He is Windows, right? And you have a Windows also.
Yeah.
So you have to ask Brother Muhammad how he did it. You can ask him on the WhatsApp channel so that he can answer and everybody knows it. But now you have to ask him. What about you, brother? You have it, so you can, and he can answer you also how he did it. Brother Muhammad did it on Ubuntu, right? What about you?
I'm literally installing it.
You're not installing it right now?
Yeah, right now.
And
To be honest, I didn't.
you've not done it yet? Okay, but you have a laptop and everything?
Yeah, but we have internet here.
We do. We do.
Because I don't have internet.
Okay. So one of the things is, again, it depends on how you want to do it, how much you want to do it, that we can use an alternate. Eclipse is a very powerful, a very big software which is called IDE, Integrated Development Environment. It integrates a lot of tools together. So in terms of editor, say it again. What?
We need the password for auction, we need the
The Wi-Fi password?
Yes.
Oh, tell them, no problem.
Tell them.
Everybody.
It's Ramadan 17.
What?
Ramadan 17.
With R capital.
Yeah, capital R.
Is it under ICCS or ICC extension?
Extension.
What
R
is it
capital.
again? Ramadan?
R capital, Ramadan 17. So again, the software is mainly that that we use. So we don't have. If you, it's not working right now. Eclipse. No, Eclipse for him working, right? For him it's not working yet, and for her it's not working either, right? Good.
Yeah, Ramadan is an PH
Power. Yeah, we don't have power here. Do you have enough?
No, I don't have enough, but it's, I think we have 18
It'll not be that long, right? Sister Ulimata, it will be this long?
No. It's okay. It's a code like, is it a code like, how do you call it?
Extension
There is
cord?
an outlet here.
Yeah, there's a plug-in.
There is an extension cord. No, there's no extension cord around.
It's long enough.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
So you can use that software. It is like a really professional kind of software. We can do a lot of things through this. We'll go through it a little bit, not right now. I also have like a backup solution for anybody who doesn't want to get involved too much right now in installing Eclipse, although it's not a big deal. But sometimes Eclipse, even after installation and running, sometimes it gives you a little bit of difficulties later on in some or one or the other aspect. So there is another place or another site. So actually online, you can go to jdoodle.com. Let me write it down. So if you go to jdoodle.com, it would allow you to write a software online and compile it and then even save it. So if you sign in, then you can write software and then save it within an online repository, and then you can run it using the browser. So you don't have to go through all the installation issues. So we can use one or the other one. Of course, if you do use Eclipse, then it provides you a lot more flexibility and power. All right. Anybody wants a break or anything? You guys are all okay? Do you have any questions that we can?
Yeah, how long will the classes be?
All right.
From what
So right. So we will have a class every Wednesday, right? After Isha. This is like the introduction and orientation class, and then there are 7 more classes after that. So it's total 8 weeks. Each class is about 2 hours. At least 1.5 can go over 1.5 to 2 hours. Easy. So we are okay so far. Introduction is complete. Do you guys have any other questions? What about computer and programming? Who knows what is the computer architecture? What are computers? What is software? Anybody want to give me some clue of what these terms are? Say anything. Don't worry. What is computer? Yeah.
Computer is a device
Computer is a device
that processes,
computes,
and stores.
and stores. Okay, that's very good. And then we know that there is so much use of computers. Every cell phone is a computer, laptop is a computer, all the online systems that you connect to are computers. Within the house, there are so many things that are actually computers. But what makes up a computer? And what we'll talk about in this computer and programming is like very basics on computer architecture, something about computer programming languages. What is a program? And then we'll do some first Java program. We'll write, compile, and execute a program, and then we'll go through programming errors. Something like it's like basic. We're not going into the programming concepts yet, but these are some of the prerequisites that we should know so that we understand what computers are. And if I'm going fast, then you guys can stop. If you have a question, then do not hesitate. Don't be shy. It's fine. Means we're all like here to learn and make sure that we understand what we are talking about before we go further. It's not a very fast-paced course that somebody will be left behind and would not be able to catch up. It's a kind of a slow pace, just so that we have a good understanding. We talk about it, and we feel good about it, what we are talking about and what we are learning, right? So a computer has 2 things. One is hardware, one is software. Very basic, right? So what is hardware, what is software? A very layman's term, in a very layman's way, somebody long time ago said it this way. He said, what you see is hardware, what you don't see is software. Right? Because software is inside. It runs, it does everything, but you don't see it, right? What you see is hardware, right? Everything, monitor, keyboard, cable, they are hardware. Right, Islam? So within the hardware, what are the basic things that make a computer, right? We see a table also, but it's not a computer. So what is the basic things inside in the guts that makes a computer a computer? So there are three things mainly. One is called processor, one is called memory, and one is called I/O. So what is processor? Processor is a chip that does all the computation. So of course you can read a whole lot about processor, but it's it's a big thing. But mainly it does the computation. The processor mainly does the computation. What is memory? So there are so many different types of memory. You have heard of RAM, right? ROM, you have heard of ROM. A phone has 4 gigabyte of RAM, right? And 32 gigabyte of ROM. So that is memory. A laptop can have a hard drive. That is also memory. A laptop can have an SSD, a new thing that these days all these laptops have. That is also memory. You might have heard of cache. That is also a type of memory. So everything that can store information is memory. Some memories they can store for a short period of time while you have power into this one. That is RAM usually, random access memory, but it's a short-term memory. Some things they can store for long term. That is either a hard drive or some other chips. So a lot of that is some kind of IC, but there are memory ICs and then there are processor ICs. So processor computes the data and memory holds the data. But where does the data come and go from? So there is another thing which is called I/O. I/O is simple, input and output. So anything that is input, that we input is input, like keyboard is an input. There are so many other inputs for a computer maybe, like mouse, right? Mouse is also an input. It's called pointing device, but it's an input. A monitor is an output, an example of an output. There can be so many different outputs. But if you put these three things, like in any computer, you can point out these three things and say computing part, a data retention part, and an input output. Is it too boring so far? So, all right, we can go faster if you guys understand it. So what is software? Software is instructions that are very simple. So inside the guts of the software is a very big thing. There are so many different layers of software, but generally, and there are so many different terminologies, so many different places a software can be. But generally, a software, when you boil it down to a very low level, it is very small instructions that run very fast within the processor, right? Small instructions that run very fast within the processor, and you combine a whole lot of it that has all the logic, everything that you want it to do, and it becomes a software. One of the very important things that we will learn when we will start doing our programming is that when you write a software, so when we see a software, it does so much for us, right? But that's a very big and professional software. But when we write a software, we will understand, we will see that it has to be complete. Just like it says very simple instructions, you have to give instruction to do everything. You cannot expect it to do anything for you, except in some cases. But you have to write all the things that you want your software to do through instructions. We'll go through it, don't worry. This is just some introduction. So what are the other things that, some of that I was not able to really complete. Like for example, do you guys know about LAN? What is LAN? What is WAN? What is Ethernet? What is data center?